Hey, good morning. Here we are. We're getting ready to go on the air. This is my special guest, Brandon Dietrich. We're going to talk about starting off on the right foot this morning. So we're kind of getting ready, doing our voice exercises, and getting ready to go on the air. Look at Brandon. He's looking sharp, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Can't wait, bright and early in the morning. It's exciting.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to It's a New Day. You're listening to Hope 9 to 5 on this Wednesday, June 13th. You're listening live today, and we will be replaying this on Monday morning at 8:30. So we're very excited to have Scott Newcomer back. Scott Newcomer, the Regional Director of Christian Businessmen's Connection, here for the 5th show of Hope 9 to 5. Can't believe it, Scott. It's been 5 months already.
It is amazing how each month rolls around, and seems like we have a new topic every month, and yeah, it's been fun. Tim, you're just a great producer, co-host to work with, and he's an inspiration, it's for sure.
Oh, please. Well, I one thing I'm very excited about is the fact that when we first got started on this, how to bring hope into the marketplace. You're going to work 9 to 5. It can be a very frustrating time, and you're not, you're not focused on what you should be focused on. You're focused on what the boss needs or what the boss wants. And I'm talking about your earthly boss. And sometimes that can really help you to lose hope. And so this is just a fantastic piece that we're able to do this every month and let people know that, hey, there is hope. There is hope at work. There's hope everywhere. But the most exciting part about today is that part of what we talked about in the beginning was bringing some guests on. So very excited to know that we have a guest along with us this morning.
Absolutely. And that's so you don't have to just listen to Tim and I talk, and Steve as well. But we do have a special guest with us today. But let me just introduce. So Tim Liebig and I'm Scott Newcomer. We're both active in the CBMC, which is a Christian Businessmen's organization, stands for Christian Businessmen's Connection. And we have Pastor Steve Gruen. He's the technical, behind-the-scenes kind of guy that gives a lot of good color commentary, makes things happen just miraculously almost, and then today we have our special guest, Brandon Dietrich, who's a young man that I've known for a few years, and just really looking forward to sharing his heart. Today's show is about starting off on the right foot. Our idea is that it's June. People are graduating from high school. People are graduating from college. People are starting new careers, new jobs. And what do they need to do to start off on the right foot so they can bring their hope with them into this new job? But before that, I just wanted to say thank you to George Chantelau and Chantelau Incorporated. They are our first sponsor of our show. And Chantelau Incorporated has been pleased to service customers for over 30 years, providing machining and saw cutting services, and they welcome the opportunity to be part of this, to serve businesses with metal cutting needs. And they can give them a call at 215-723-1383. They're located up in Telford. George and his team are just amazing folks, very creative, and they can address all kinds of metal cutting needs up there. So just a shout out to George and say thank you, and please feel free to give them a call. So they're our sponsor for our show today. So again, to review our show, we're here to help people understand that there's a hope that they carry with them, or that they can carry with them into the marketplace. There's a hope that isn't just a wish for the future. It's a confident expectation of the future, and that hope is in faith in Jesus Christ, and that they can walk in that, and they can bring that, and they can have the Lord inspire them and move through them and allow them to walk into the marketplace with His light and not their own light. And then we're going to talk about our special guest and some of the things that he has to share with us about starting off the right foot. Then we're going to review some upcoming events that you might be interested in. So let's get going, Tim.
I think that's a great idea, and I can't reiterate it enough. So many people are getting ready for work right now, going to work, and some people see work as a release. Some people see work as a way to get away from the other concerns in their lives, but doesn't have to be that way. There is plenty things that we can do. You know, we've talked about being Monday morning atheists. Here we are in the middle of the week, but you know, when we come home from church on Sunday and we're recharged and we're pumped up and we're excited, generally, and then the first person we get behind that sits through a red light, sits through a green light, right, on Monday morning, right, all of a sudden we're just not that person anymore. But I'm real excited though that Brandon's here, because it's not just for old folks. It's not just for us guys who've been working for a long time. You know, Brandon is now. I have to ask, about how old are you, Brandon?
I'm 24 right now.
24.
Wow.
24. You know, now when I was 24, I was not thinking of things that Brandon's thinking of and wanting to bring hope to people. That's just not where I was at that time. And the Lord came to me a whole lot later in life, or I should say I came to him a whole lot later in life, or came back to him. But Brandon, it's really, you know, exciting that you are thinking of other people and looking at you know, how you can build a network and help people to help especially the younger people to get off on the right foot. This is a really critical time, and we know this in CBMC. There's a group that I've worked with out of Penn State called Alumni Connect. These are people that they've been in Bible studies and things like that in college, but now they're going out into the world. And that's a very dangerous time, because it's very easy to get pulled in some other direction, because you're focusing on your new job, or you're focusing on looking for that new job, that you know, that career, and you're thinking about the, you know, possibly your debts and your student loans and things like this. So it can be a really trying time. And my feeling is, and I'm sure Pastor Steve feels the same way, this is the time that you really need the Lord. You really need guidance, and you need a network of people like you, Brandon, that can help lift people and carry them through this could be treacherous time.
Yeah, you're spot on. I think, like you said, it's a very pivotal time. Along with, we really have to surround ourselves with the right kind of people that, you know, love, trust, and respect us. Along with that, we love, trust, and respect them, and you know, can definitely sort of mentor each other and you know, work through life and do life together, not alone. So. Wow.
Well, Brandon, why don't we just kick off and just give everybody just a brief outline of your career journey so far, just to help people have a context.
Absolutely. So graduated from college, went to Temple University about a year and a half ago, and currently I am a principal at Social Assurance Media. We're a digital marketing agency that ensures that your online social presence is not why customers are saying no to buying from you. In an ever increasing, you know, connected world, you know, so many people are searching online and, you know, just trying to see who you actually are as a company, what you stand for, and so on and so forth. So that's what I do currently. Graduated from Temple, major in marketing, was getting a minor in finance. However, sort of wanted to get more real life experience. Yeah. So left with the major. And really before this chapter in my life, I can say that my experience has kind of run the gamut. Yeah. So 50% has been more so actually working for somebody, you know, in a regular job. Okay. And then the other 50% was, you know, having my own small business, you know, building that, finding our niche. It was a property management company, built it during college, and, you know, had a successful exit from that about 2 years ago. So, you know, really, I know some of the things we're going to talk about today is, you know, how to get started in that whole journey. So how to get started right after college. And, you know, really the one thing I think that, you know, is a theme that's going to run throughout is not just what to do after college, but how there's never really you know, a perfect time to start, and it's never too early to start. So a lot of stuff that you can start, you know, I'll use my own you know, personal stories, personal examples is, you know, back in middle school and high school, there's so many things that, you know, us as students can be doing then to not just build our network and build, you know, our faith and our hope, you know, just setting ourselves up on the right track, taking the first right step, and then we can see a little bit further. Wow.
Well, so yeah, I could imagine, especially graduating from Temple, there's probably lots of different directions that you could have gone. You know, there's kind of lots of things you could have stepped into. And so what kind of things were on your mind at that point, or what, I don't know, hopes and dreams, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you would have asked me what I wanted to do back in high school, I would always said, you know, I wanted to go work for pharma and, you know, maybe do sales or something along those lines, get to travel a lot. And, I got to do that. So I got to spend a year and a half with a pharmaceutical consulting company, and it was a great experience. And, I like to say, life is all about experiences, and there's never like a good or a bad experience. It's all about experiences, and you basically learn, and, you learn and grow from them. So, going back to, sort of like where I guess, what I wanted to do is, not if you would have asked me, 4, 5, 6 years ago, if I ever thought I'd be right where I am today, I'd absolutely say no.
Yeah, we can't relate to that at all, can we?
I think we all would.
Yeah.
We'd all say that.
And I think it just goes back to being open to, whatever happens, sort of just, being flexible through it.
Yeah.
So not trying to plan everything out. However, again, taking the first right step in the right direction, and then you can pivot from there.
Yeah.
You have to be flexible. So again, I think, all of us around here, again, never expected at this very point, 5, 10, 15 years ago, we'd be right where we're at, experiencing the things that we're doing. However, I don't think we'd change it, too much. It's all about our experience.
Yeah.
That's great. We're Scott and I and Pastor Steve, we're at the age where we've said and would possibly say, if I knew then what I know now, you're in a great position, Brandon, because there's a lot of experienced people around you, and you don't have a problem gleaning off of the experience of others. So you do know then what we know now,
Exactly.
And you're able to carry that with you. I think that's just incredible.
100%, and you learn from what other people. One of the things that I'm a huge proponent of, and just feeding off of that is, you're the sum of like the 5 people you spend the most time with. So it's all about who you're spending time with, who you're learning from, and for me, it's when you can find that synergy of somebody who the 2 largest things in our life sometimes is our faith and family side along with our vocation. So if you can find somebody who has what you aspire to be, or has what you aspire to become, and they have that in both faith and financial, or faith and vocational, if you can learn from them, we only have 24 hours in a day, so you can't learn from everybody. However, I found that amazing synergy when you find somebody that has what you want in both areas of life and can learn from them, and basically just pour into each other. Something magical happens there. So
Absolutely.
Surround yourself with them kind of people.
So let me ask you a question. What are some of the key motivations or inspirations that help keep you focused on your journey?
Absolutely. So for me, I'd say it's always about the big picture and having that desired end state of where I want to be, not exactly what that looks like. However, having that desired end state of, hey, I know one day I want to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And always working towards that, not trying to plan out every step of the way. So for me, it's the big picture. And, personally, one of my large things is to be able to work for a purpose, not just for profit. So for me, the catalyst, what I've been, blessed with is, it seems like my skill set is in business, and business is my catalyst to grow. However, I would, my end goal is to be able to surpass that and be able to work for purpose, whether it be in youth ministry, missions trips, things along those lines, but always to take a step back and realize that, hey, I have an end goal of being able to do X, Y, and Z with my life, and what are the correct steps that I can do to get there. So that kind of keeps me motivated. One thing I would say, though, is even before you lose the motivation, or you lose, your direction or whatever you want to say, is, a large part is setting expectations. So not just with your boss, or, that's a huge thing, especially for us getting right out of college, setting expectations with your boss. Here's my skill set. Here's what I can do, what I can't do. However, I've noticed in my own life that you have to set expectations with yourself. So be patient. Scott, I'm sure there's some things that you wanted to achieve in life, or maybe achieve in your corporate time, that maybe you thought you were going to do in 6 months, or a promotion you were going to get in a year. However, those might be unrealistic expectations, and I know a lot of my network friends that graduated from college with me all have those expectations that they put on themselves. However, it's great to have goals, but if you are not if they're just going to be things that you're going to miss, and not realistic expectations, I guess I'd want to say, achieve the little wins, and have the goal to achieve more. However, don't get down on yourself, for not hitting.
Well, that's a great point. So I'm thinking of the person sitting there. There's the I guess I think of young people. There's the person that's maybe having a hard time getting started, hard time. You hate to say getting out of their parents' basement, but kind of have the hard time there. And then maybe the person that wants to conquer the world and be a CEO by the time they're 30. And so how do you get to a good expectation? Or how do you set that next goal for yourself?
So a large part is all about balance, I think, for me. I've swung the pendulum, as I'm sure many people listening and all of us sitting here in the room, I have seen there's we sometimes we get out of balance in the fact of we're always focused on work, or maybe there's a season in life where we stand down from work a little bit, and we focus more on our building our faith and our community and our family. For me, it's all about balance, and there's seasons in life. I just recently transitioned from a season of the starting this up, grabbing the first couple of clients, and that was really where I focused a lot on that. We are personally transitioning to a fun chapter of our life. Going actually to become foster parents. So one of those fun things where it's sort of working for purpose as well. And that's where I can stand down a little bit, at least over the summer months, as we're trying to figure things out. So it's all about balance, I think. And those expectations of hey, it's not going to happen right away. If you set benchmarks for yourself of not just income wise, but that's the largest thing that a lot of us college students think about.
Sure.
Not just income wise. That hey, I have to make 60 or 70 or 80 grand a year by the time of 25, or I have to change career paths. That may not be the best option. However, maybe it's about hey, I want the quality of life that hey, I want to be able to have those 3 weeks vacation, have the purposeful serving at church or something along those lines, and that's a good expectation to have, I'd say.
Nice.
Brendan, I have to ask you about, and not that this has happened yet. Doesn't sound like this has happened yet, but what about the hiccups? What about those moments where you get tripped up a little bit? What can you offer our listeners, especially the young listeners that are hearing this, are in the same position as you, when they trip a bit? How do you recover from that? How do you do it?
Trust me, it happens. So trust me, it happens. I am no one special. I think everybody has those things that we're doing that are going great. However, then I'd like to say that sometimes life just hits us in the face, and we have the best laid plans. However, it just doesn't work out. So for me, I like to just gain perspective. So if I could sum the whole thing up as I've learned that I personally have to gain perspective on hey, whatever I'm struggling with in personal life and or business, what will that actually is it going to be life changing for me, first of all, but then stepping back and looking at it one day from now, a week from now, a month from now, and ultimately a year from now, will that thing that I'm struggling through, that hiccup, be that costly, that large of an impact on my life? Typically, I find myself worrying, and I like to say I'm not necessarily a worrier. However, sometimes I'll find myself in the heat of the moment, and I think we all do, where you'll worry and try and figure, push just to figure something out. However, I realize hey, you sometimes just got to let go and let God. Again, sort of a catchy phrase, whatever. However, sometimes you just got to put your faith that it'll all work out, all the dots will connect looking back. However, for me, a lot of it is perspective. Not worrying about the little stuff that seems so large in the moment. However, hey, it'll work out.
We make mountains out of molehills, and they're actually still molehills.
Yeah.
So that's great advice.
Wow. And the one thing, I don't know if you guys have anything to add to it, but I've noticed, again, sort of like the preventative aspect of it, when things seem like they're starting to go downhill, and it's just a good daily practice, I think, is just practicing gratitude and being thankful and grateful for what we have, what God's blessed us with, the unique positions that we're in, and just realizing that hey, things could be a whole lot worse, and we are so beyond blessed and grateful. And I just want to say even we're hopeful, of course, going off the theme of the show, we're hopeful for where we're at in life and the opportunities that we have in the future.
Gratitude is powerful. Hey, Brandon, I just wonder if you just maybe say another word or two. We're getting close on time, but just a lot of our audience, I know Tim and I might be on the other side. I don't want to say older workers, but maybe just on the not younger. And what kind of things can you tell us that we can do that would encourage those folks that are just coming into the marketplace, that are encouraging folks that are a little bit younger? Like what kind of things can we do to help?
Awesome. So two things. One is like the overarching idea that at the end of the day, yes, we are younger and yes, we're millennials. However, people are people. We all have the same things sort of going on in our lives. We all have the expectations of others. We all have, family commitments, work commitments, self-imposed things. We all have stuff going on in our everyday life. Just because, we may not have families yet or may not have all those kind of burdens, we have other things that are going on in our lives. So understand that, hey, we're still people. So, just working through those kind of things that happen in life with us. The other thing is value what we as young people bring to the table. So I take this back to like one of the personal best stories for at least myself is, hey, we look at things slightly differently. So, a lot of us are all on social media, and for me, of course, it just happened to lead where, it worked out great for me from a work perspective. That, hey, I was doing corporate pharmaceutical operations consulting, and it was terrific. However, you realize that in that field, there's a lot of people that, you're sort of leading up, and you're working with people that are, 30, 40, 50. And you just look at problems differently. So whether that be, again, personal life, for me, it was marketing, some of the print ads, emails, things like that. There's a new way to communicate with the younger people, and that's where we've really predicated and based our whole business off of. And it's worked out great so far. If you expand on that, though, see what we can bring to the table. Again, sometimes it's just energy in, a sales meeting, if that's, the field of work that you're in, or if you're a teacher, maybe, it's a different way to teach your students that you're more, generationally connected with them. So value us for, sort of what we can bring, different perspective. And at the end of the day, just remember, we're all people, we all, respond to typically the same sort of things. And, we all have stuff going on in our lives. So we're all just trying to figure out how to, work our way through it, a little bit better.
Wow.
But,
Excellent.
no.
I'll tell you, just spending time with Brandon certainly gives me, talk about hope, right?
Amen.
Certainly gives me hope for the future. When you think of a 24-year-old, there's many more Brandons out there.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not exactly like this guy, but I'll tell you what, it does certainly give guys that are, how did Scott put it, older workers.
I said not older, but
not older,
not younger.
Not
Yeah,
younger.
That's right. That's
not
right.
younger
Yeah.
workers. Does certainly give me hope for the future for sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let's bring this. Well, the show just zooms by, and we need to bring it in for a landing.
Yes.
But just want to thank you, Brandon. I really appreciate your heartfelt input. Hopefully, those that are listening can take note of that. If you're out there and you say, "Wow, I'd like to hear this again," well, you can. Next Monday at 8:30, or you can go onto YouTube and do a search on Hope 925. That's Hope 9, the number 9, then TO5. And we're going to put this on YouTube as a video. You can actually see what Brandon looks like as he's talking, and Tim and I as well. Just wanted to review some quick events coming up. We have we have men's equipping meetings, the CBMC Businessmen's Meeting. In Reading, Pottstown, Collegeville, King of Prussia, Montgomeryville, Doylestown, Horsham, Center City, Philadelphia, Media, Scranton, Stroudsburg, Parsippany, New Jersey, and Wilmington, Delaware. And so you can just look at our website at midatlantic.cbmc.com for times and locations and more information. We also have monthly business owner peer advisory meetings. We have one meeting now in Pottstown, another one in Limerick, another one in Princeton, New Jersey. And we're working on having a young professional gathering. And we're hoping Brandon can help us with that and spearhead some of that. But we're really excited to see what might happen there. There's a men's fall retreat coming up, September 28th and 30th. We'll be telling you more about that. So it's time to close. Lord, we just ask that you would bless those that are listening, remind them of the hope, the eternal hope, the absolute concrete hope that you are our Lord and Savior.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, folks, thanks so much for being with us. Hope 9 to 5, show number 5 in the can.
Yes.
As this is being recorded, and we will be back in just a few minutes, so please stay tuned. You're listening to It's a New Day on 1180 WFYL. We'll be right back.
And thanks again to Chantelau Incorporated, our sponsors for today.